yoddu sa xët te quality jas na ñoo yor seen cumbukaay tur day uyu borom jas na pire soo ko bëggee fii si biir Gambia bi dawal foofu sa quality jas na your number one stop shop ana sama jigéen ñi dama bëgg ngeen jox ma seen nopp garme yi ndaxte quality jas na amal nañ leen ay til yu toj daala poos abaaya yu yiiw waaye it amal nañ leen ay boreda yu rafet boreda yoo xam ne pour góor ñi la ak pour jigéen ñi amal nañ leen body scrub yi nga xam ne nii dafay defar seen yaram bam nice waaye it fàttewuñ fa diw yi ana sama jeeg yu pare yi quality jas na amal nañ leen fa andi cuuraay yu neex house spray ak bépp xeetu baax pour seen biir néeg dama ne atum ren jii ku sa jëkkër mere ku ne yow la neex ndaxte quality jas na ñëw na si dëkk bi pour defar sëy yi make-up artist yi bàyyi leen gannaaw ñu ngi leen fa amal ay make-up product yu quality waxu leen léegi nii foofu sa Westfield jàkkaarloog monument bi wala nga jokkoo quality jas na si 250 01 24 ak quality jas na taaral sa bopp taaral sa néeg waaye it dëggal sa alaaji aas.
As far as today's press conference is concerned, we want to brief you about the developments that we have made for the first quarter of the year. And after that brief introduction, we will also give you about few reforms, what make us to achieve what we have achieved. Now, to start with the beginning of the year, you are all aware that GRA has been given a very difficult task, and that is to mobilize or collect 19.2 billion for the year. Of course, this was a very big tax for us, but we believe that we can do it. And we've taken up the responsibility. And from January, we are able to collect over 1.7 billion. And end February, we were able to collect, February being a short month, over 1.4 billion. Now, the bigger amount of collection, the highest collection ever in the history of GRA comes at the end of March, where we were able to collect over $2 billion. This is the biggest collection so far in the history of GRA. And we think that this is something that we cannot put under the carpet. We have to share this information with you. However, there are a lot of reasons behind the mobilization of this amount of money for the country. And one or two of the reasons that we wanted to highlight. One is because we have the support of the government. GRA alone cannot be able to do this without the government support. We have the support of the government, and that is why we are able to collect this amount. And from January to end March, the total collection we made is over 5.2 billion. And taking that from the overall collection targets we have for the year, we still have to struggle very hard to collect over $14 billion. But with the support of the government and the support of the taxpayers and the people that are doing economic activities in the Gambia, we should be able to do that collection. One, sometimes last year, we have seen that the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, who are our principals ministry, GRA, as some of you may know, GRA is an operational department, institution. The policy arm lies at the Ministry of Finance. We have seen developments that are going over there in terms of creating a new directorate called Directorate of Tax and Revenue, headed by a young man called Alaji Jallo. He's working with the team and the permanent secretary, as well as the minister and other directors. They are doing a great work that is really helping us in terms of broadening the tax base, in terms of getting to areas where GRA could not ordinarily get to. For example, rental income side. The Minister of Finance, through the Directorate of Tax and Revenue, we are able to write letters to foreign missions, these diplomats that are within the country, to tell them that the agreements that they have with their landlords, be it at the residence or the offices, these are informations that we need in order for us to be able to collect the rental income. But ordinarily it's difficult. Maybe some of you will know that we cannot go to those diplomats and asking for information due to diplomatic protocols. So we have to pass that through our parents' ministry. Our parents' ministry also has to pass a letter to Minister of Foreign Affairs, and then Foreign Affairs will now write to those people for those information. Thank God all these protocols have been fulfilled. We have started receiving information, and we are realizing a lot of tax revenue from those rental income. And that is why I start with discussing the point with Minister of Finance. This is one of it. Other things, they are doing a lot of other things that is really bringing us money, because we are in constant touch with them. So we are collaborating with the ministry so that they are helping us areas that we cannot ordinarily get. In addition, we are also doing a lot of reforms internally. One of the major reforms that we are able to achieve last year was the establishment of the Asikuda Wall. Asikuda Wall is a web-based system of which importers or their agents, once they have their original documents, they can do their own declarations from the starting to the end. Here, I mean starting to the end. They do all the necessary declaration through the system and do a printout, then go to any commercial bank, do their payments to GRA. So the Asikuda Wall is what is making us to achieve that. And the Asikuda Wall also has other enforcements within the system, where you have a facility we call direct delivery, meaning somebody has a bulk cargo or a lot of containers, he or she doesn't have money to pay upfront. GRA, to make trade facilitation, can give the person, the company, a 30-day period to clear the goods and then make some money and then come back and pay GRA. This was what we have been doing. And in the past, we were finding it very difficult to recover some of those monies. But with the coming of the Asikuda Wall, if we give you 30 days, if you don't come back to pay that money, the system automatically will block that importers from the system. It will block also the agent. So that agent cannot do work anymore. He cannot do anything as far as DRS system is concerned. The importer is equally the same. So even if GRA did not come for you, the agent that do your declaration will follow you to pay, because that agent's life lies on making declaration for other people to get his survival. So interesting thing is the system has its own enforcement. And because since we started the system, we have realized that compliance level on that has increased. Everybody who is given the direct delivery facility will try to run and pay before even the time is up, because they don't want to be blocked by the system. And the interesting thing is, if the system blocks you, even Commissioner General cannot unblock you unless you pay. So those who go also to look for duty waivers, they make applications, take their goods, and saying that I'm going to Minister of Finance to look for duty waiver. Before, when they go, some of them will stay for 1 year. You don't see them, and they already got their goods. Some will say that they are looking for SIC, Special Investment Certificate. When they come, we give them the goods, they will go, it will take 1 year or more before we see them back. And now we'll be running after them. But now with the existence of Asikuda Wall, those are things of the past. Anybody who comes, you don't come back on time, the systems will block you, and you cannot do any activity with our system. So you are forced to make sure that either the request for duty waiver, you get it, or the request for SIC, you get it. Otherwise, you are done as far as we are concerned. So this is a very good system. It has many other advantages, because whatever you put there, the people at the ports, our staff, they are seeing everything. The people at valuation head office, they are seeing. There are staffs that are sitting somewhere else. Enforcement, everywhere, they're seeing everything. It's so transparent that it's really helping us. This is one of the achievements, among others, that is helping us to achieve what we are able to achieve. In addition to that, we also working on the side of the domestic tax, a system called iTax. This system also is web-based, and when the system is ready, it will be able to interface with the ASICUDA, such that the information exchange can happen between the iTax and ASICUDA. Whatever control ASICUDA is doing, the iTax will also be able to do that. And we will also be able to enjoy what we call the e-services, whether it's e-payment, e-filing, and all the e's that are related to the system. So this is another area that we are working very hard. And inshallah, we should be able to achieve that also. Further to that, we also have some companies that we are working with on the role of PPP arrangement. And one among them is the single window company. You have all seen in the past, latter part of the 2023, what the single window brought us, the e-tracking system. The e-tracking system is helping the institution so that it's controlling almost everything that is coming into this country. We used to have a lot of problems, vehicles coming in and going out from the ports, going to the ports, going out to the border, going out from the depot, but now all that is a thing of the past. We have geofence all these areas to a point that any vehicle that is coming from Senegal's end and you are passing through the approved route, a device is put on the vehicle, and we have monitoring centers at GRA. 24/7 people are there watching. We have another monitoring center in Serekunda at Single Ubindor. 24/7 people are there watching in real life the movement of the vehicle. Once device is there, if that vehicle should stand for 10 minutes, an alert is sent. And then we find out, what are you doing there? So since that coming of the e-tracking, it has made life very easy for us. And not only from the border, but equally from the ports, goods that are on transit, going from the ports, going to either Senegal, or going to Mali, or going to Conakry or Bissau. They are also tagged at the level of the port, and they will go out to the exit, and then the tag will get out, or they will take the tag from them. So that on also, in the past, we used to have here these transits are dropped here, they are dropped there, they are here, so many talks. But thank God, with this technology, that is the thing of the past. And equally, the fuel tankers that are coming from the depots, either from GP, Gam Petroleum, or GPS, the second petroleum farm that is at Mandinarin, anything that is going out of that place, as far as transit is concerned, going to Mali or Guinea, either of the Guineas, Conakry or Mali, it is also tagged. And it will be, the tag will be with the tanker until exit. In addition, we have what we call bonded warehouses. These are warehouses where approval is given to certain people. They have their goods in there, but they don't pay duty. They have the goods there. When they have the market out of the Gambia, they apply to pay duty. They prepare the entry, pay duty for. If it is staying in the Gambia, they pay duty. If they have market outside of the Gambia, they prepare a transit entry. So once they prepare transit, when those goods are going to, they are tagged, and then the vehicle will go on a no escort. It's only the device. And once the device is on the vehicle, we are all seeing it at the head office level. So now, these are gone are days where we have worries about our transit, either going out of the country or coming into the bonded warehouse or coming into the country. We have geofence everything until to a point that that is no-go area for anybody. In addition to that, all the borders that are within the Gambia and Senegal, we have put CCTV cameras so that most of the activities that are happening, we are seeing them real life time while we are at the head office here. This is also for security reasons and to protect the transactions that are happening there. So these are all brought by the single window. In addition to some of the reforms that we also have the state of the art digital weight bridge at the port, which the reason being that because we have a lot of goods that are charged based on weight. Before, we didn't have that kind of a bridge at the port. When the goods comes in bulk cargo, here we mean either flour, sugar, rice, cement, etc. Anything in bulk form. Generally, they are not put in the containers, but they come in bulk. We charge the duties on them based on weight. And equally, Ports Authority charge also their handling and whatever charges they have through weight. Now, in the past, what used to happen, it is the businessman who will tell us, I have 10,000 metric ton. I have 20,000 metric ton. How can we verify that the 20,000 they declare is the correct one? We thought it is important that we have a bridge, a way bridge, state-of-the-art way bridge, so that every truck that loaded will come and pass through there. Then we will see at the end of the day, the actual weight that vessel brought in. And then correct duty will be charged. These are the kind of things that we are doing in order to enhance our revenue collection. We are not increasing any rate. We are not charging anybody extra. We only broadening the tax base and also bring into the tax bracket those that are not there. This is what we are doing. We collected over 2 billion, not because we have increased tax anywhere, but we only broadening the tax base and increase the efficiency level of our work. And these things I'm mentioning, these are the things that increase efficiency. In addition, we also brought at the port a container detectors system, where at the terminal we have 2 poles there, and trucks that are loaded, containers that are loaded coming to the terminal, they pass through, and the detector will detect the container numbers and send it to our server. So that every vessel, the number of containers that you discharge, we know by the time the vessel finishes discharging. Gone are days where people go and stand at the terminal and start counting containers. But these detectors are there, they are computerized detectors. If containers pass them, they take the number and send it to our server. We believe that we have to revolutionize the way we do our work. And that is we can only do that through digitalization and bringing computer systems into our work. We're creating a platform which is going to be the second phase of SIGPA, a platform that will allow government departments, other institutions, including GPA, shipping agencies, clearing agencies, to have a direct contact in the system, where when you have your goods and you need to go to shipping agency, you don't need to go, you go through that platform. And that is why it is called single window, so that everybody will go through that. You'll have a password and go through. Whatever you need to do, physically, what you do in your office, now you do it through the system. And then once you are done, you just click and pass it to another person. This is what we are trying to achieve as a country. As a country, we always want to look best practices that are happening in other countries. We try to bring it to our country, because we also want to be among countries that are best practices. Rwanda is Rwanda because of the people that are in Rwanda. Rwanda is Rwanda because they embrace technology. Rwanda is Rwanda because people accept the reforms that are happening there. Reforms are difficult. When we introduce reforms, they are very difficult. And people will resist. But at the end of the day, reforms are good for the country and they are good for the people. I'll give you a good example. When we talk about the Asikuda Wall, when we initially bring Asikuda Wall, there was a big resistance. People reported us all over. They said this is a web-based system. Gambia here, we don't have a strong internet. So how can we have a system that is driven on internet? But anytime I got those kind of information, I said, give us time. We just starting. Give us 3 months and see whether we will be able to do it or not. The moment we are about to start the Asikuda Wall, I called the Gamtel MD and said, I want you to come, we discuss. We want to sign a contract with you so that you provide the fiber optic system to all GRA stations in the country. Of course, the MD was very cooperative and his staffs. We signed a contract and they started the work. They connected all our border stations with fiber optics. Now, the internet issue is history now. The system is up and running and it's doing a wonderful work. Those who are criticizing the system are the people who now love the system more, because even at your home, your comfort zone, you can have your laptop, you can have your desktop. They install the system, you come and do all the work there without going out. So sometimes when reforms comes, people have to give it a chance and see what would be the end results of the reforms. But you know, anything we bring, people will start saying, no, this cannot work. It's working in other countries. And there are human beings living there. Gambia here, we have human beings. If it works in Rwanda, it can work here. If it works in Uganda, it can work here. If it works in Kenya, it can work here. If it works in Ghana, it can work here. If it works in Sierra Leone, it can work here. So the information to the public is we must embrace reforms. Reforms are things that we need to do in order to change the face of our country. We have a lot of things that are coming through single window. But we have another PPP company called SIGPA. SIGPA came in and we had a partnership with them in terms of PPP. And the PPP arrangement was an open tender through Ministry of Finance. I heard some people talking about SIGPA. They have no idea how the system came into here. They have no idea. They're just talking. This was an open tender conducted by Minister of Finance as a head and other ministries, including GRA, Ports Authority, President's Office, all over GPA and GPA and GPPA, etc., etc. Finally, at the end of the tender, SIGPA won it. And SIGPA, within their contract, they have 3 components that reforms that they want to bring into the country. And we believe these reforms are happening in other countries. And they are working there. Why not Gambia? We believe that if we want development, these systems have to stay. And they will bring a lot of changes. One of them is tax stamp. Maybe to the ordinary understanding of general public. What is a tax stamp? A tax stamp is a stamp that manufacturers and people dealing with excisable goods have to buy and make sure that it is put in their product. And once it's put into their product, either it's imported or produced here, GRA will be able to follow, to know the number of importations that comes in. If it is production, we will be able to know the amount that they produce in their factories. And we will be able to charge them based on the amount they produce. This is transparency. This is transparency for both sides. We are not saying we're going to charge them anything extra. Whatever little fee they pay on that, fee they pay for that stamp, the PPP contract is based on that. The PPP company is getting their fees from, and government is also getting the fee from that. So it's a very simple arithmetic, and it is happening in other countries. And it's going to happen here. As we speak, we have a sample here. The tax stamp is there. Maybe some of you can even check those. This is from Gambia. Gambia has, we must commend them. They have started ordering the stamps, and they have started using it on their products. It's here for you to see. GMC also have started, the flour mill company, and other companies that are already there. So we need to be serious in our business. What used to happen in the past? Interesting. The factories that are producing, either soft drink, canned drink, water, whatever they are producing, we charge them excise tax. Excise tax is not a new tax that we introduced. It has been here forever. But how do we charge know the quantity? Just like the way bridge at the port. Excise tax also is the factories who tell us oh, this month I produced 5,000 cartons and it's costing this. So we charge the excise tax based on that amount that is given to us. We have a percentage, most some of them 5%. It's only few that are more than 5%. So this is how we have been working with them. It's like they give us the information. We have nowhere to verify the correctness of that information. And that is why we come up with tax stamp. So that when you buy it, because anything that goes to the market will have a stamp, then we'll know the quantity. Because we know how much you bought, what quantity you bought from SIGPA. So we know that, and definitely we will have an idea of your production level. So then DRA will also, or the government will also have their fair share of the tax, which we believe is very transparent. There shouldn't be any issue on that. Second phase of SIGPA is the fuel marking. The fuel marking, again, we have 2 depots. All the fuels that comes into this country, they find themselves at Mandinari, either of the depots. They are all dumped there. But the understanding we have in general is there are also some tankers that will come and stay in the deep sea. And they wait until nighttime. They have small vessels that goes there and pick these fuels and then distribute them into stations. We cannot verify this because it's very difficult for us to detect that. But when we have the fuel marking, if any of that thing happens, we'll have testers that will indicate to us that this particular OMC, the fuel that they put there, is not what comes from the depots from Medina, because it's marked. At the same time, with SIGPA, we are working together for them to bring a tester, fuel testing equipment into the Gambia, which is going to be used by Pura. As we speak now, we don't have any kind of that machine to see which fuel is quality, which fuel is the best. Whatever we want to do, we have to send it to our neighboring country, Senegal. Now, this company is going to bring a system that will be given to Pura, so that any fuel that comes, they will test to satisfy whether it should be used in this country or not. These are things that are happening in other countries. And we believe that we should also be in position to have these kind of things, to know that we are having the best quality of fuel in the country. Not every fuel that comes, we just take like that. Among other benefits that are there with fuel marking. So the process is on with that. And the final one, this is the third one, is revenue assurance. SIGPA is also working on with us to make sure that we have the revenue assurance. That is the ones that works with telecoms companies. The telecoms companies, as we speak, the telephone calls and the data are in millions. The data are in millions, if I can call it that, billions. Who is able to quantify the excise tax element, the VAT element? It may be impossible for an ordinary human eye to do that. But we want to bring a system that will work, that Pura will use, work with them to make sure that the fair share of the tax that belongs to government is unveiled. And then they pay for that. Nobody is saying that we go any extra mile for them to pay something that they are not supposed to pay. We only want government to get what they're supposed to get. That's the excise tax part of it. And also the VAT. So these are the 3 areas that SIGPA have, and we are working with them. And inshallah, everything will go fine. For the resistance and noise and other things, we are used to that. Any project that we bring, before people realize, they make noise. But at the end of the day, when they realize that this is good for them, they embrace it. And in fact, they love it more than us. They love it more than us. So for me, I am convinced that all will be fine with all this project that we are doing. And to be quite frank, if we want to develop as a country, we have to embrace change, and the change in terms of reforms. We cannot be doing things as it used to be in the past. We cannot. We have to bring some things, in terms of system, to be able to, increase efficiency in our work. And that's technology. And we must work with partners to be able to achieve that. Well, we cannot say that we just have to remain calm. Everything how it is, has to go. If everything remains the same, then GRA will not be able to collect the revenue that we are collecting. Because we are doing a lot of changes. Not forgetting developing the human resources capacity for staffs. We're doing in that area as well. We are making sure that our staffs have professional training. They have academic training. We encourage the young ones that are here to go to school and learn, become professionals. So we are all doing all these things to make sure that we put a proper structure, a proper system, and for the interest of the business community. Because at the end of the day, everything that we are doing is just to bring transparency, efficiency, and trade facilitation. So this is what we are up to. So we thought we should just brief this press about it, and that you know exactly for the first quarter of the year, this is what activities that we have done. And inshallah, our relationship with you will continue. We have more things, developments that are coming. We have more developments that are coming. Among them will be a software on rental income. We've also have a software on rental income collection, which very soon we are going to start, and then you'll see how that is also going to have impact as far as our revenue collection is concerned. Because every aspect of our collection, we want to push it to technology. We want to leave things by doing manual, because people have passed that level. If you want progress and efficiency, you have to embrace technology. And that is what GRA is doing. Everything we are doing, we want to embrace technology. We want to use technology. We want to thank our partners, the taxpayers more especially. They are very helpful. The compliance level has gone up. We also want to thank the president and the government in general because of the support they are giving us. You all know that every year, around end of February, March, we organize a taxpayers award. And His Excellency, the President, is always the chief patron who comes, be in the high table with the highest taxpayer for the previous year. So this also has increased the compliance level, because as we speak, everybody is trying to be the highest taxpayer. All businesses are trying to pay so that they can also have award. We have gone to a point where now we are thinking of moving the venue from Kairaba, because we realize that Kairaba is now small for that program. So we are now thinking of where should we go to help such a program, because it's like every taxpayer wants to come and attend that program. It becomes one of the programs in a year that the president attend, that the number of people, the last program, we thank God the president came on time. So half of the people were out, they couldn't enter. As protocol call it, once the president comes, the door is closed. So we are praying that the president should even come quicker, because otherwise we cannot accommodate the people inside. So the taxpayer education, the award night also has really helped us in terms of compliance. Not forgetting you, the media. You're also helping to spread our work and, to spread our work all over where we cannot ordinarily be. So we also want to thank you very much for that very important role the media is playing as far as information is concerned. So we will continue to have partnership with you. But for GRA, our reforms, we'll continue doing that. We'll continue bringing more and more reforms into this country. Not long ago, we brought in the state-of-the-art scanner, that you cannot have that kind of scanner anywhere in West Africa. I have traveled most of the countries, even in East Africa. We went on study tours in most of the countries, and I have seen the kind of machines, scanning machines they have. The one we have here, you can rarely see it any other country within the sub-region. So whatever we are bringing here, we are bringing the best. We don't want to go into any substandard thing. Everything we bring in here as a reform is the best. And we believe that Gambia can also become a center where people will be coming over here for study tour. This is what we want, like Rwanda. We know that everybody wants to go to Rwanda for study tour to see what they are doing. And now Rwanda is even charging $11,000 for you to visit their country. Can you imagine? They charge you just for you to visit there for study tour $11,000. Now, we are heading towards there. We want to make Gambia another Rwanda. We want to make Gambia such that people will be coming from other countries to come and see. We have our sisters Senegalese who were here a few months ago, and they were surprised the kind of developments we are doing here. Some of the people from Nigeria, they came here for study tour. Just to name few to you, that we have also started countries coming to Gambia for study tour. But I'm sure there will become a time, once we make sure that we increase our reforms, there will become a time Gambia will also charge people for coming to Gambia for a study tour. You know? It's going to happen very soon, inshallah. We all have to work together as a team and support each other. We have no other country but the Gambia. And we have to believe in ourselves and make sure that we concentrate on domestic revenue mobilization, because that's the way forward. When we have our own money, you know, nobody's going to tell us how to spend our money. And to get that, we have to believe in ourselves. And to do that, we have to work as a team so that we can achieve whatever need to be achieved as far as the country is concerned. At this point in time, we can allow the floor. Yes. So you start with Isa. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
As you stressed on earlier, always there is this noise out there whenever there is one of the systems going to run. I know it's the responsibility of the media to better, make the population understand. But isn't the GRA or the authority considering going down the ground for sensitizing people about their subject problems?
Yeah. Thank you. You know, at the level of GRA, I always said that government of the Gambia has done a very great thing for establishing what we call GRA, Gambia Revenue Authority. In the past, you have the domestic tax standing on its own, collecting domestic revenue. You have the customs standing on their own, collecting international trade revenue. But when government brings in amalgamation of these two institutions, it is one of the best things that the governments did for the country. Why am I saying that? We were fortunate to witness those days when the total collections for the whole year, even 2 billion, is not to that level. Even 1 billion is a problem, because their monthly collections were less than 100 million. When you have the standing alone of customs, you have standing alone of domestic taxes. To have 100 million was a big problem. Now, why do we have the amalgamation? Because the World Bank and the IMF thought it's a good idea to put them together, since all of them are collecting revenue for the government, and to bring more professional people into the institution to help the operational departments to function better and to create specialization. And that is why at the level of GRA now, we have different departments ranging from finance and accounting department, where you have series of ACC holders who are specialized in only collecting the revenue and managing banking. In the past, that wasn't happening. You'll have a domestic tax officer who is an accountant, IT person, HR person, and everything. Custom officer in a station, he is everything. He's the IT guy, he is the tax assess, he assesses the tax, he bank the tax, he is the accountant. But now when GRA come, it becomes a thing of the past. You go to an officer, you have either the custom officer or you have the domestic tax officer. He only does the assessment. The collection, the auditing, the IT is all different departments within GRA. So you have the finance and accounting department, you have internal audit, you have HR and admin, you have technical services, you have legal department. We have enterprise reform and modernization / IT department. We have all these other departments that are there to specialize in various areas of work. So like he was asking about taxpayer education, under technical service department, we have the taxpayer education unit, which is headed by no other person than our able Matinjai Senghor. She is the one who is heading that. And you have seen that through her, we have also conducted a lot of seminars with tertiary institutions. We go through provinces, try to see opinion leaders in the provinces, in the greater Banjul areas, and we organize seminars with even the Network of Finance tax reporters and many other institutions. So, like he said, we will continue to do that. TV programs, radio programs, any reforms that we have, we make sure that the taxpayer education go through it and understand the stuffs so that they will be going out and inform the general public so that we will all be in the same level. There will be no misunderstanding in what we do. So it's a very important question. We are doing it, but we will make sure that we increase that taxpayer education that we are doing. Thank you very much, Isa.
Two questions.
Yes.
One for these Gambians, your customers,
Yes.
usually receive their cargoes from the Senegal, thinking that it's cheaper than receiving it here. And then the second one is this value-added tax. Many of your customers usually add it out to the people consuming. And then you have mentioned
one is about people bringing the goods through Senegal. Businessmen are free to choose the destinations where their cargoes will drop and come to the final end. So therefore, Gambia as a country, we have a port. Senegal also have a port. But most of the time, there are certain vessels, because of the heaviness of the vessel, they cannot come to Gambia because of the depthness of the sea. If they try to come, they cannot even come. They cannot, because it has to go so many meters deep before those big vessels comes. So most of the time, we have seen goods dropping in Senegal, and then they join they take trucks there, bring them to Banjul, bring them through the border and to Banjul. That in itself is a very difficult and very expensive for the business community. What we wish is to see that our port also is upgraded to a level where these big vessels will come, so that at the end of the day, they will bring the cargoes direct to Banjul, offload, and it goes to their stores. I am sure my brother MD is working on that to make sure that the port's infrastructures are improved to a point that vessels will be able to come to Banjul without any problem. But as long as that is not done, it will be very difficult for this. In fact, it will be impossible for some of these big vessels to just come from Europe, America, or Asia directly to Banjul. So to answer your question, they are dropping at, most of them are dropping at Senegal because they cannot really come to Banjul because of the nature of the port. This is it. But we are working on that. The Ports Authority, my brother MD and this board and the government are working on that. Pretty soon, that problem will be addressed. Now, your second question is about VAT. Well, the VAT is not everybody who should charge VAT. VAT, your business turnover must have a certain limit. Like 2 million, your turnover should go above 2 million before you can register as a VAT register. And if you are not supposed to charge VAT. And VAT is not a tax that importers pay. They just collect that amount on our behalf, on behalf of GRA. And then at the end, they remit it to us. So it is not a tax that is paid by importers or other businesses that are within the country. It is just serving GRA a transit account and send it to GRA once they do business with other people. Now, with the other aspect of your question, which is about rental income, there is no VAT on rental income. We have not. Rental income is charged on gross. Gross here, I mean, if the rent amount that you are charging to your tenant is 100,000 per year, the rental tax is charged based on that gross amount. No reduction, no addition. If it is for commercial purpose, like here when we say commercial, you have a shop at your compound or on the highway, you rent it to somebody else, you charge the person $6,000, $6,000, whatever you charge it, the person, you have to pay 15% of that to GRA. So there is no increment in terms of VAT on top of it or reduction for expenses. No, it is charged based on gross. Also, if you have a house in your compound that you've decided to rent to somebody and he pays you 100,000, it's very simple. It's 8% of that 100,000 that you have to pay to GRA. And there is nothing like reduction, reducing this or that, or adding VAT in it. The amount is 100,000, 8% of that. That's what you pay. So your fear that VAT might be added to the rental income, no, I am telling you that there will be no increase on that. Only what you charge your tenants, that is what the charges is going to be levied on. Thank you. Any other question?
Thank you very much, Stevie. I have a question just on rental. Of course, there are reforms taking place.
Yes.
As we just heard right now. In terms of monitoring, now we have the real estate, companies, people involved, in housing, offering rental services when it comes to housing. How is the GRA monitoring and implementing tax on those that are involved in, rental
real
services,
estate,
in the country, especially houses?
Okay, thank you very much, Mudlamin. It's a very important question too. But let me make a quick clarification. When we talk about rental income, a lot of people who are not very close to GRA will not understand that. It does not cover real estate agents, because real estate agents, their mode of business is dealing with lands and developments and things like that. So they pay their taxes, the normal income tax, and whatever they collect, their tax is based on their final assessments when they do their assessment. So they are not classified under the other group where we will say yearly you have to pay this thing. They pay tax, but their tax is inclusive because that is what they do as a living. In addition, also the ones that have the guest houses around, those people also, they are also not directly paying the rental income, because if you have a guest house, that is your living. That's what you use as a living. So you do that with all the things that you do. At the end of the day, we expect you to file, to be paying, to do your filing and paying your taxes either quarterly, and then we will be able to assess the tax that you should pay. So those ones, the remainder real estate, they are not part of the rental income that we are following on monthly basis. And then the motels and the guest houses are also not part, because they do their tax payment in a different way. So where we are referring to the rental tax is the general one, the ones that are the stores that you see on Kairaba Avenue, Senegambia, Brikama Highway, and those stores are there just for that purpose. But there's not like a business, somebody who is doing a real estate business or somebody who is also doing business of a guest house. They have a different way of filing their taxes. So they are two different categories. And I wanted to add this quickly. We are not forgetting about the rental income side. We are bringing a reform on that area. And pretty soon you will see us in town. We will take a map of everything and we'll make sure that those who need to pay, let me not scare you, but we'll make sure that those who need to pay will pay. We make sure that Gambia is a tax-based economy. Don't forget, you all want to have development. All of you want to have development. You have seen the infrastructural development that is going on in the country. And it's part of the development that's going is taxpayers' money. So we definitely need to make sure that we collect the tax so that that development can continue. coming OIC and even beyond OIC, we still have to continue development. And therefore, we want to appeal to everybody who is doing economic development in the country, economic activity in the country. Come forward and pay your taxes, because government also is providing some services to you. And those, without providing those services, your business may suffer or it may be impossible. For example, security. Who is responsible for security in the country? Peace and stability. Is it not the government? So government can only do that if they have the means to pay the security. So if you're doing business comfortably, you open your shop until evening, you close, you go to home, you are staying here peacefully because somebody is protecting you. And that's government. And that is, among other things, government need money for many, many, many other things. So therefore, the general advice is that everybody who's doing economic activity must try and pay their fair share of the tax. If everybody pays, it will become easier. But if only few people pay and the rest of mankind stay without paying, it becomes very difficult for those people that are paying. So we appeal that everybody who should pay, come forward and pay your fair share of the tax so we can see this country into another level. Yes, any other question? Thank you so much. Thank you, Mohammed.
Yes.
Kumbali Gambia Daily Newspaper. Anyways, I have two questions for you. The first one is regarding what you said. You made mention of trust and efficiency in embracing technology. What is the level of security in dealing with digital tax collection to privilege tax leakages? My second question is, I presume that the SIGPA is a Swedish company. People are making concerns regarding its credibility. Can you please shed light on that?
The first one is about, you said security. As I told you earlier on about GRA, the composition of GRA. The composition of GRA, we have different departments. And any reforms that we embark on, what we do, the first thing we'll do, we'll establish a functional team and a technical team. The technical team will involve our IT staffs. And anything to deal with security, the IT will handle that. The functional team are the ones that will be following the day-to-day activity. So we are aware of whatever we do, we are aware of it, because we are not dealing with fictions. We deal with reality, what's happening. So in terms of security, whatever system we bring is, it's a system that is fully secure. As far as our IT staffs are concerned, they are doing everything possible to make sure that they safeguard it. Concerning about SIGPA, those who are talking about what corruption or this or that, maybe they don't understand, because they went to SIGPA's website. SIGPA is the one who put that corruption thing on their website. Why do they put it there? Because like you have a system, and there is a weakness in the system somewhere, and because of that weakness, somebody was able to do something. One of the staff, because of the weakness of Asikuda wall, he is able to, manage to escape. And then the regulator, for example, if we are under Pura decided to give us a fine. Does that mean that the whole company is corrupt? What does that has to do with the company? Nothing, absolutely. But those that are saying that, these are the detractors. Those are the people who don't want the reforms to happen. If this was really damaging, do you think the company will put it in their website? If I know that if I put this thing, it's going to give me a problem. But because they are transparent, they know that that weakness that they had there, they have screwed it and they have corrected to a point that they are now working with World Bank. SIGPA is one of the strongest and the best company you can have in the world. SIGPA is the one, they are involved in currency production. Which, do you think a company that is working with World Bank and international bodies will have anything to do that with that? But there is no system in the world that is perfect. If you develop a system, people will try to see whether they have weaknesses in the system. So that doesn't have any effect with what they are doing here. But again, the detractors, people who don't want these reforms, will do everything possible and then try to see whether what they can come up with. We are facing them. We are telling them that you have no point. If you have another point, go and bring it. But this point you are saying, it is produced by SIGPA itself. So that's not a point of any weakness. Thank you.
yoddu sa xët te quality jas na ñoo yor seen cumbukaay tur day uyu borom jas na piir soo ko bëggee fii si biir Gambia bi dawal foofu sa quality jas na your number one stop shop ana sama jigéen ñi dama bëgg ngeen jox ma seen nopp garme yi ndaxte quality jas na amal nañ leen ay til yu toj daala poos abaaya yu yiiw waaye it amal nañ leen ay boreda yu rafet boreda yoo xam ne pour góor ñi la ak pour jigéen ñi amal nañ leen body scrub yi nga xam ne nii dafay defar seen yaram bam nice waaye it fàttewuñ fa diw yi ana sama jeeg yu pare yi quality jas na amal nañ leen fa andi cuuraay yu neex house spray ak bépp xeetu baax pour seen biir néeg dama ne atum ren jii ku sa jëkkër mere ku ne yow la neex ndaxte quality jas na ñëw na si dëkk bi pour defar sëy yi make-up artist yi bàyyi leen gannaaw ñu ngi leen fa amal ay make-up product yu quality waxu leen léegi nii foofa sa Westfield jàkkaarloog monument bi wala nga jokkoo quality jas na si 250 01 24 ak quality jas na taaral sa bopp taaral sa néeg waaye it dëggal sa alaaji aas